Hello and welcome to the Bespoken Faith Podcast. I'm your host, Gabrielle Beth, and we are on episode 7 of the podcast. I read a long time ago that you are supposed to launch 6 episodes when you are starting a podcast. If you missed those episodes, or if you are just tuning in for the very first time, I have been sharing with you all my life story from before I was even born to all of the ups and downs in my life. And the last 2 episodes, I talk about a very tough time in my life. It was a lesson that I had to learn. You know the saying, you live and you learn? That's exactly what happened to me. I had to live and learn through this experience, and there was no other way for me to learn the lessons that I had to other than going through it. I feel like I was absolutely answering. I was just walking around with rose-colored glasses. Nobody could tell me wrong, and yeah, I had to learn a very valuable lesson. So if you want to learn a little bit more about your host and her background, I totally recommend listening to episodes 1 through 6 of this podcast if you have not done so already. I do have a little bit of a headache today. I don't know why, but I'm drinking coffee now. I just tried for the very first time the Chobani hazelnut creamer. It's actually really good. So if you want to know more about the train wreck of my life, go ahead and listen to the previous episodes. In today's episode, I'm going to be sharing with you where my life has been currently, where I've been ever since that breakup. That breakup happened last September. I can't believe it's been almost a year. And wow. And where have I been? What am I doing now? Damn it, this is so awkward. My neighbors just walked outside and I think they're grilling, and I don't even want to look up because, oh boy, that's so awkward. Oh my god, it looks like they're grilling. Okay, I'm just gonna, because they're about to grill or something, so I have to shut those blinds. Bear with me. Let's see. That's really good. Okay. All right. Sorry, that would have just been way too awkward to have that open. So, before I get into today's episode, if you need to grab a drink, a cup of coffee, a snack, whatever you please, I'll be right here in a couple of minutes. You have a voice. You should use it. You serve a God who gave you a gift. You should share it. You have the ability to create. Go create something. Hi, I'm Gabrielle Beth, and you're listening to the Bespoken Faith Podcast. My hope is to share truth, give advice, or even tell funny, not so funny stories. I may even share some poetry with y'all from time to time. So whatever we're talking about, I hope you feel welcome. And don't forget to love generously, be spoken, and have faith. Hello, everybody. So, if you have listened to episodes 1 through 6 so far, I guess we can say we're friends now because I spill the tea on a lot of areas of my life. I will be honest. Currently, there are a couple of things in my life that I do want to keep just a little bit private. I will definitely be able to talk about these things later, but for right now, some things have to stay private. One thing is really, really good. The other thing is not so good. So let's go back, shall we? So, if you are listening to this episode right after finishing my previous episode, I had just ended things with said person. Powder, if you will. So it was a couple days after my birthday that I ended things with him. So how did I process this breakup? Honestly, I don't know if it's talked about enough how once you get out of a relationship that is very manipulative and consumes so much of your time, how you go back to normal life after that. During that 6 months that I was with him, I feel like my life was kind of on like pause. Like I wasn't really living my life. I don't know if that makes any sense, but I was like thriving in my singleness before I got with him, and then while I was with him, I feel like I wasn't being authentically true to myself. I was just so infatuated with him and just making all the wrong decisions for somebody else. And then after I broke up with him again, I was like, how did I forfeit so much of my time, my peace, my mental health, everything for this person? It really felt like I went to prison for a little bit without even realizing it. And then all of a sudden, I'm not in prison anymore. I have my own time. I'm able to make my own decisions. It felt really wonderful, but it was a little bit of an adjustment period. Instead of having my sleep interrupted at night, I was able to go to bed at whatever time I pleased. If I wanted to go to bed at 10, I was allowed to. If I wanted to watch a movie with my sister and then go to bed at midnight, I was able to. I didn't have to answer to anybody anymore. And I know I'm probably sounding like a little princess. I'll make as much time for anybody as I have to. It was if I wanted to do something that didn't allow me to be 100% free for him, he would throw a fit or manipulate me into feeling bad enough to make that time for him. I like to prioritize my time in a way to where I get a lot of things done all at once. So there would be days where I had to run like 5 or 6 errands, and I would like procrastinate on my errands and then just do them all at once. And, there would be days where I would be running errands and he would call me and criticize me for doing too much or not being available to have a Bible study with him in like the middle of the day. Yeah, I didn't understand how much stress I was under while I was with him until I was no longer with him. I always had this like stress in my voice, and like I was just carrying so much stress. Like everybody around me could tell. And once I was finally able to just be me and live and thrive as Gabby, I started to slowly but surely get my sparkle back. Again, there was a little bit of a adjustment period because you go from being under this high stress all the time, having to make decisions for somebody else, being ridiculed if you're not 100% focused on them at all times of the day, to being able to actually be the Gabby that I'm supposed to be. So it took a little bit of time, but I got my sparkle back and I was a lot happier and a lot more at peace. Holy smokes. I can't believe how long ago this was. Like this was before I even got a new job. So during this time, I was working still for Amazon. I had went from the warehouse to, because of him keeping me up late at night, distracting me while I was at work, my job performance had dropped so much. I decided to look for another job, and I got a job working for Amazon delivery services. So I was working there, and I wasn't really happy there. For anybody who's done Amazon delivery, you know that it is a tough job. It is not for the weak. You have to have good organizational skills, good time management skills. You have to be a hustler, and you have to be okay with like not being able to take breaks whenever you want. And you have to make sure you're drinking a lot of water and make sure you're eating at least a little bit during your shift. I think one of the problems I had, besides overheating, because I would overheat a lot, was not eating enough to keep my blood sugar up. Because between it being 100 degrees outside, breaking a sweat all day, and not eating a lot, I would end up with a migraine almost every time I worked. So I knew that I didn't want to do that job very long. In November of 2022, let me back up for a second. So my sister and I, when we were living at our apartment, we started to rescue kitties, and we partnered with a lady who has her own cat rescue. That lady's boyfriend had a construction company, and he needed somebody to manage the office. So I had an associate's degree in business, and I was like, I would be totally interested in that. And so I got hired as an office manager and also was hired to do payroll for him and accounting and organization. And it was a lot, but I enjoyed it. You know, it was a job, it was a paycheck. So I get this job. I'm working now. I'm single now. And if you've had a 9 to 5 job, I think you can agree with me when I say your life kind of just starts rolling. Like you work, you go home, you do stuff on the weekends, and then you go to work again. It's just this cycle that you kind of get into. So you don't have a lot of time to really enjoy life to the fullest, I feel like. I kind of ruined all of my friendships. So I didn't have any friends at the end of 2022. I'm going to the gym, I'm trying to be healthy, but after a while of working this job in the office, I start to feel kind of like I should be doing something else. So I wasn't really happy going into this year, but I was also making decent money. I couldn't really complain. Things were okay. My bills were being paid, but I wasn't like totally happy. So I'm working, life is going on. In March of 2023, it was my mama's 50th birthday. We planned a special homemade dinner with her, and it's crazy. March actually feels like it was a really long time ago, but it was actually only like, 5 months ago? Crazy how time just flies, but as a gift, I painted her a canvas. I dedicated about 6 weeks to this canvas. I actually think I have a picture of it, which I'll insert right now if you're watching this on YouTube. And it took me a while because I kept messing up. I kept having to go over certain spots, and I really I loved this project. It took me so long to complete it. And I'm new at painting. I've only painted a few different pictures. But anyways, so another really fun event happened in March. My uncle got married, and him and his wife decided to get married in the Florida Keys. So I got to go to Key West for the very first time, and honestly, I feel like a lot of people visit Key West or visit the Keys, but I really wasn't a huge fan of it. Because it's so far down south and so close to the Caribbean, I thought it was going to be more beautiful. There was just a lot of seaweed, and the water wasn't blue, and I don't know, there just wasn't a lot of beauty to be seen. Like, the atmosphere is really nice, the sunsets are really beautiful, you're kind of in this tropical area. Oh no, I just realized my microphone stopped. It unplugged itself when I don't know how long it's been. Oh gosh. Okay. Sorry, but I just realized I wasn't recording. Hopefully the audio sounds better now. I don't know if it makes a huge difference, but I prefer to speak into the microphone. So yeah, I got to go to the Florida Keys, and that was really great. That gave me like a break from work and everything, and just got to enjoy time with my parents. And so in April, I decided to attempt something that I've thought about doing for a very long time, but I haven't really taken the steps to do it. I tried to launch my own clothing company. I saw other people doing it from home, and I thought, I can definitely do this. It's not as easy as I thought it would be. I don't know if it was the vinyls that I ordered or the heat press that I got. I was like ruining shirts. My vinyls weren't pressing clean. I would have to press them a few times, and then even after that, they'd be fully heated, but they wouldn't pull clean. And then the shirts were getting discolored, and eventually I was like, you know what? I think I might as well just sell the heat press, bite the bullet. I kind of wasted about $400 just for my designs and ordering clothes. So that kind of sucks, but hey, when you are trying to do business, you are going to have some loss. And unfortunately, I don't even know if I can use those designs. I thought about getting a different heat press. Maybe it was the heat press that I got, but I really don't know. I've tried a lot, but I don't have another like $400 to spend on a heat press. Is it even gonna work? I don't know. So I'm like, I don't know if having a successful clothing company is for me. So I feel like I definitely want some type of business. I want to create some kind of revenue from home, where I don't have to kill myself at work or at a 9 to 5. Like, I want something that is fulfilling, that I can do from anywhere in the world. I guess I'm still trying to figure out what that is. Maybe this podcast will generate some money once I, get it out there and I have sponsorships and things like that. This podcast is honestly, I wanted to have it out before like so much time had passed, I just need to get this podcast launched. So this is my number one goal. I want to get back into making TikToks again. That's something else that I have so many ideas just written down, but I haven't filmed them. A lot of the reason is just I don't feel, I know it sounds kind of crazy because whatever, like everybody has their own insecurities, but a lot of times I just don't feel like getting in front of a camera because I'm really insecure about the way my face looks. Like, I have a lot of acne. I've been trying to treat it like all my life and I'm still breaking out like a mad woman. But I just ordered a new product. I tried some other products last week. I don't think they're doing it for me, but I just discovered a new brand. It's called Clear Stem. And then I found out that they also have like supplements that you take, which I'm thinking about getting some of those because if I can like have a good moisturizer and good supplements, I might be onto something. We'll see. But this isn't about my skincare journey. Sorry, I went on a little rabbit trail. Let's see, where does that take us to? So May was a really interesting month. So in May, a lot of drama started happening. There was a pregnant kitty who was living outside of mine and my sister's apartment. Our lease was up at the end of March. And we really want to rescue this mama kitty and one other stray cat who we didn't know that he was stray. He would come within a yard's length from us, like for us to feed him, but we were never able to get close enough to him to actually pet him. And I thought he was just really, really shy, but no, he's so feral. Like, still, we've had him in captivity for like since the end of March, and he still won't let anybody near him. But he is so cute. His name is Nicholas, and I call him Saint Nick because he has a little red nose, and he's just the cutest cat. He's an orange cat with a little red nose, and he's just so adorable, but unfortunately, I don't think he's tameable. But back to mama cat. So we had a pregnant cat. We did trap her. My mom set up a area in her shed for her to have her babies. Well, the lady who was operating the cat rescue, she wasn't happy with this. She did not want us to allow this mama cat to have her babies. There is such a thing as kitty abortions. And if you don't know what they do during a kitty abortion, I will spare you the details, but I recommend checking that out because it is very, very sad what they do to pregnant kitties and their babies. If you're an animal lover, it's heartbreaking no matter how you slice it. I don't care. I know there's an overpopulation of kitties who need homes, and you feel like by killing off 5 or 6 babies, you're helping in some way. You're not. I don't think that there's any reason why you should abort babies. But at the end of the day, we trapped mama cat. We had her spayed, so she'll never be able to have babies again. She's also super feral, so she will unfortunately have to be an outdoor kitty. We're trying to find somebody who can have her be like a barn kitty where she's not totally in the wild, where she's still being taken care of, but she can't live in a home. But we did have her babies. They all came out super cute. They're so adorable. 2 of them actually came out as tortoiseshells. That's what mama cat was. She's the tortie. And the 2 tortoiseshells got adopted together. And then there was 1 orange kitty out of the litter. So we think Nicholas is the dad. We're not 100% sure, but I really think he's the dad. That kitty got adopted. He was the first to go. And then there is one that's like bow-legged. Like, its 2 front arms are shorter than its back legs and it kind of walks a little bit funny. But he is so cute. Like, that cat is so adorable. Like, I really want him to get adopted. 3 out of 5 or 6 have already been adopted and are on their way to wonderful homes. So here's where things get a little dramatic. So we partnered with another cat rescue who also was helping the lady who didn't want Mama Cat to have her babies. So we're just going to call Mean Cat Lady and Nice Cat Lady. I don't know what to call them. I don't want to use their real names for protection purposes. But the Mean Cat Lady was very upset. And she would go to the Nice Cat Lady who was helping us and would badmouth me and my sister, as well as my mother, to this lady, trying to get her to not work with us because she was so petty that we were helping this mama cat and she wanted her to get an abortion. And we were like, no, she's not getting a kitty abortion. And so there was a bunch of drama. Well, this is just my theory. I believe that Mean Cat Lady was talking to her boyfriend, who was my boss, telling him that he should fire me because she was so unhappy and didn't want to be involved with me in any kind of way. And eventually he listened because I'm getting a little bit ahead of myself. So one week he was talking to me about tripling my income and setting me up so that in a year from now, I will be able to buy a house or a plot of land and he would build me a house. He was really trying to help me and really wanted to see me be successful. And he knew that as long as I kept learning and kept doing my job, I would be a wonderful asset to his business. And then 2 weeks later, he said, I'm sorry, but we have to go separate ways. I was like, that was out of nowhere. So after that happened, I had to pack up my office and leave the office. So it took me about 10 minutes to clean off my desk and everything. So as I'm pulling out of the parking lot, I'm like just collecting my thoughts and I call my mom and I'm like, so I just got fired. And she's like, didn't I warn you that something like this was going to happen? You know, his business just wasn't doing very well either. So I think between the stress of finances and everything, he just let me go. But as I'm on the phone with my mom, it hadn't even been like 20 minutes since he had fired me. She got a text from saying, I just got a long text from the Mean Cat Lady saying that Gabby was fired and all this other stuff and what is going on? Like, why is she telling me this? And that's when I knew that she had everything to do with him firing me. That was the end of that job. And it was honestly a blessing in disguise because yes, it was a paycheck. Yes, it was an okay job. You know, it wasn't the most difficult. It was an office job, you know, but I wasn't really happy there. I didn't really like the type of people that the Mean Cat Lady and my boss were. And I always said, I don't like the way he treats his employers. I don't like the way he speaks to people. And there were a couple times when he spoke to me disrespectfully. And I was like, wow, I can't believe he just spoke to me that way. But that's just how he is. You know, he gets his panties in a bunch and that's just how he is. So in a way, it was a blessing in disguise. I'm really excited for what God is doing in my life now and where he has me. And I know that everything's going to be okay and better than it would be if I had just stayed at that job. So going back, so in June of this year, I started to research side hustles that I could do. One thing I found was Rover, which is a dog walking, house sitting. It's free to sign up. You do have to pay $35 for a background check, but I was like, whatever, like, I feel like it'll be worth it. So I signed up and right away I started getting offers to watch people's pets for them. And it's not like consistent money, but it has brought a little bit of money. I want to say I've made about $800 in a month of doing Rover, roughly. So, I mean, it's something, you know? If you are interested in making a little bit of extra money, or maybe you're in between jobs right now and need to make some money, I 100% recommend Rover. It is such a fun job if you like dogs. I'm not the most doggy person, like I prefer cats over dogs, but it's not hard work. You know, you do have to do some things, like I had to give a dog medicine. I had a very old dog who was blind and deaf and could barely walk, could barely eat. I had to hand feed him chicken. But even like, I don't mind doing stuff like that because I love animals and that's just my heart. I want to help and I love animals. So if you love animals and you don't mind taking care of them or walking them or whatever, I recommend Rover. There's a link in my description. Please click it. That will help me out and help you out as well. The other side hustle that I started doing recently is Clickly. Clickly is an email marketing website where you send out emails, and if people click on your links, you get a little bit of commission. I think it's only like 10 cents per click, but just from clicks, I've made $42 in like 1 week. Then if you refer people to Clickly, you also get a commission for that. And if you are interested in doing Clickly, all you need is a laptop and a little bit of your time every day to send out the emails, maybe push it on your social media a little bit so you can get referrals, generate more income. But it's definitely something anybody can do from the comfort of your home. Or if you work in an office job and you have a few minutes during your day, you can send out the emails and make a little bit of extra money while you're working. It's called Clickly. The link is in the description. Check it out. By the way, I'm not sponsored. This is a brand new podcast. I probably won't have any sponsors for a while. I don't know why I feel like telling you guys this is not sponsored. Yeah, I started doing some side hustles to make some money, and I've also been trying to find a church. I thought I had found my home church back in March, April time. My sister got baptized there. I really thought that was going to be my home church. Like, I loved it. And then I didn't love it. And I had to unfortunately make the decision to check out a different church. And I'm really happy I did because the church I'm going to right now, it is the most home a church has ever felt. I'm very blessed to call this church my home. It's a wonderful church. It's everything that I feel like a church should be. Like, they're not judgmental. The pastors are very welcoming. I had a call with one of the pastors last week, just getting to know me. So, building sort of a relationship with me. And I really like that because at the previous church I was going to, the pastor was like a celebrity on a pedestal. You had to stand in line just to meet the guy. And then he never interacted with people in the congregation. Like, he was very like on a pedestal. Whereas I feel like the pastor, as the head of the church, should be taking care of his people. And that was another thing. Like, my sister had gotten baptized, and then there was no Next Steps program. There was no mentoring offered. It was just, cool, you're baptized, off you go. It was really discouraging, and I was just unhappy about a few different things. So I'm really happy that I found the church that I'm going to right now. I don't want to mention the names of any of the churches because, one, for privacy, I don't want to poop on a church because even though they're not my cup of tea, I don't agree with them as a church. I would never recommend anybody go to this church, but at the same time, I don't want to slander their name either. And then the church that I am currently going to, if you are in the Concord area or Charlotte area and you're looking for a home church, you can message me privately. I don't want to share the church publicly because it is a little bit of a smaller church, and I do have stalkers on the internet and people who I don't want to know my location. But don't hesitate to reach out to me and inquire about what church I've been going to because I don't want to withhold that information from somebody who might be in the same shoes I was in looking for a church. It is so frustrating. And then to finally find a church that you actually feel connected with, it is awesome. So yeah, that's about all I got to say about that. So by the time you're listening to this, it is August, maybe even September. I just got a new job. So I'm going to be starting work in a couple of weeks. I'm going to try to have this podcast out before I start that job. Once I have this first season of my podcast launched, I don't know how much time I'm going to be able to set aside to sit here and talk to a camera and edit. Other than that, I've been working on strengthening my mindset and learning different things, whenever I go to the gym now, I listen to podcasts during my workout instead of music. Sometimes I listen to music, but a lot of times I just listen to a podcast. Sometimes when I'm listening to music, it can be very distracting, especially if you can't find like a good song to listen to and you're just sitting there like hitting next on your playlist. It can be a little bit frustrating, but yeah, I've been listening to podcasts, trying to just increase my wisdom, learn some different stuff. I've been going to the gym consistently. And then most importantly, I've been growing in my relationship with Christ. A walk with Christ is not a consistent uphill walk. It is definitely a roller coaster, and there are times where you make mistakes, get derailed, have to learn different things, but that's part of the journey. And right now where I am, I'm just really trying to consistently, I don't want to sound like a weirdo. I don't care if it makes me sound weird, but I'm always trying to grow closer to God and fall more in love with him. And I don't want just to be a superficial Christian who just believes in God. I want to love him, like deeply love him, and live my life for him. And I'm always afraid of putting myself before him and making this life all about me when it's not about me. I actually started a devotional. It's written by Rick Warren. It's called The Purpose-Driven Life. I'm only on like day 3 of it, but it really like takes you out of that mindset of like your life is yours and yours alone, and like Christ kind of is just an asset to your life. Like he really breaks down how God thought of you before the world was even created. God thought of you, and he knew that he needed you in this earth. And it really makes me realize like how small we all are, and like how every single day that we're alive is a blessing from God. And I started getting really down on myself just this past week. Sometimes I get really, really low and down on myself, and sometimes I just feel so lost and like I don't want to live anymore. But when you think about how small we all really are, and how our purpose is so much bigger than any career we'll ever do, or like anything we'll ever accomplish, like our purpose is bigger than anything we can fathom. And so I feel like God definitely has some things in store for me. Just even how this whole year transpired of me losing my job, and but him still providing for me. I've been able to pay all of my bills, and he's just been providing for me in different ways. And God is always faithful, and he always has more planned than we ever could think that he has. Like, I would have never been able to predict that I would have lost my job, and now I'm about to start a new job. And I'm in a season where I'm very grateful for what God is doing, but I'm also a little bit lost and unsure of like why I'm even here on this earth at all. Sometimes I feel very lonely. Sometimes I'm very confused, but that's all part of this journey. So I think that's all I have to share with you all today. I live a very quiet, simple life. I'm literally a grandma. I spend a lot of time with my sister and my cats and myself, and I'm quite happy that way. There are times where I kind of hit a wall and have to self-reflect and think, why am I even here? Do I have a purpose at all? And I know that God has so much in store for me that I can't even see or fathom yet. So if you are kind of in a waiting period, or you're not sure like what your purpose is, just hang in there, because God's plans are always bigger than our own. There's that verse that says, do not worry about tomorrow, for tomorrow has its troubles of itself. Only worry about today. Today, I have a roof over my head. I'm in air conditioning. I have Wi-Fi. I have internet and electricity, and I'm healthy. I'm not in any pain. I'm able to think thoughts, and you're able to hear what I have to say. So, there's always something to be grateful for, and always hope to have for tomorrow. So yeah, if you're struggling with mental health, just hang in there. But I appreciate you all listening to me. And if you want to hear more from me, subscribe to the podcast and leave a comment or a review letting me know why you like it, why you hate it, what I can do to improve. I would love to hear your feedback. Thanks so much for watching. Be blessed, have faith, and I will talk to you soon. Bye.